Grace.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon from wherever you're tuning in from. We are very, very excited to be hosting you. Can you hear me clearly, Kevin? Okay, so I don't need the earphones. All right, so it's amazing and awesome to see you guys here tonight. It is part 2, and we are very, very honored and excited to be hosting you again. Welcome to Get It Right with Atara Solutions. Yes, if you're tuning in for the first time, this program is called Get It Right with Atara Solutions. We seek to demystify issues in employment and entrepreneurship. So we cover a lot of issues that affect both employers and employees. And we do this every Tuesday here on Zoom. And therefore, we welcome you to join us every Tuesday. Please mark your calendar and make sure this is your home, because I promise we are the trendsetters, the official trendsetters named by ourselves. and we bring in topical issues, the best of the best speakers. By the way, you will never find this information we bring to you for free anywhere. And I can promise you that. Yeah, and so I hope you're making use of our YouTube channel. I hope you're making use of the lessons you take, and I hope that your employment spaces or your employer, as an employer or as an employee, the space that you're in, you're making a difference from the lessons that you pick from us every Tuesday. If you do that, we are on a mission to change the world through information. So I hope that you are plugging in and actually changing yourselves and the people around you so that we can create a better space in our workplaces. So my name is Grace Nzula, and we normally have a sign language interpreter, but unfortunately she's not able to join us tonight. So I really apologize for that, but unfortunately she's not able to join us. Something has come up and then she's not able to plug in. But nonetheless, we are going to continue. We normally have Catherine Sidandi here with us as a co-host to help us be inclusive, but unfortunately today she's not here. But nonetheless, we're going to go ahead, and with me is my co-host, Kevin. Kevin, you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Welcome all. My name, as you've heard, is Kevin Adipo, and I'm here to represent the Facebook family because we are also live on Facebook. And I am a HR consultant with Atara Solutions. So I just echo what Grace has mentioned, that we are always happy to have you. Back to you, Grace.
Thank you very much, Kevin. So this is Get It Right with Atara Solutions, and we started this webinar series in June of 2020 during the COVID period. We have covered more than 100 episodes actually, and all of them are logged in on our YouTube channel, which is Get It Right with Atara Solutions, and I'm sure Jacinta is about to share the link. So if you have missed any of our webinars, please go to our YouTube channel. The recordings are there. Make your own notes. See what you can support your employees or employers with, or even yourself. See what areas you need to work on, and help us create a world, our workplaces that are better. Now, we do this in partnership with a number of organizations. Kevin, you will give shout outs to our partners.
Definitely, Grace. And yes, so as always, we cannot be able to come to you every Tuesday without the support from our partners. We have Stallion Company. Stallion Company, as the name suggests, is a building and construction company. And if you need any help from them, please feel free to reach out to us, and we'll be able to act as a link for between you and them, so that you can also get their services. We have Pathway Solution Services. Pathway Solution Services is a HR firm, and they have an online LMS training that always seek to help those who have, or rather those who seek to get information, or rather learning through the comfort of their homes. So if you are this person and you seek to get or rather learn at the comfort of your house, please reach out to Pathway Solution Services. I am also a candidate of theirs. So as you can see, it's quite some improvement that I've been able to get from them. We have HRM PEP. HRM PEP is a HR firm, and they have also with them HR trainings. That is IHRM is also one of the courses they offer. So if you are a HR without certification, please reach out to HRM PEP so that you can be able to get your certification. We have Institute of Pension Management. Institute of Pension Management, as the name suggests, they help you, or they help HR help their employees with the pension management schemes. So please, again, reach out to us if you have an institution, organization that is not compliant, or rather you don't have a pension management scheme, so that they can be of help. If you are one person who loves to work with their hands, we have Panessa Training Institute. Panessa Training Institute is a wood working company that helps those of us who love to work with their hands, so that you can also bring out your art skills. We have also another partner by the name WeClean. WeClean is a carpet cleaning company. They have a machine that is able to clean your carpet for less than 6 minutes. So if you have or you need cleaning services, reach out to us, or rather reach to WeClean. They'll be able to sort out all your cleaning needs. We have Suluhu Mediation Center. Suluhu Mediation Center helps with mediation courses. If you are a HR and you'd love, or you have a desire to be a mediator, we have Suluhu Mediation Center for you. We have Kapu Lamintito. Kapu Lamintito helps with Vipochopocho from the coastal region. So if you are one person who loves Vipochopocho from the coastal region, they also do deliveries, so you can reach out to them. We have Elsamia, Profiles International, and Fast Quality Solutions. Those are just some of the partners that help us to bring this session to you every Tuesday. Grace.
Thank you very much, Kevin. And yes, Steadfast Quality Solutions is a company headed by our very own Herbert Zake. Herbert Zake is our partner in Kampala. He supports us in sharing our flyers. Herbert Zake, we recognize you, we appreciate you, and we are happy to be associated with you. And I hope that we are also creating impact in Kampala as well. And I hope that tonight, actually, I invited one of my friends who I met yesterday. She is in charge of the IHRM of Eswatini, which is in Swaziland, and she's joining us, I think, tonight. So tonight we are not metropolitan, we are kila mahali, whatever that means. But yes, all right, so allow us to just jump onto the business of the day. Tonight, we are looking at a substance abuse, addiction and substance abuse. And with us is an expert from NACADA. NACADA is the body that deals with drugs and substance abuse. I'm sure Yvonne will do a great job of introducing herself. But at this point, allow me to welcome Dr. Yvonne Olando, who will take us through the initiatives that we're supposed to employ to have that done in our organization. So, karibu sana Yvonne.
Asante sana Grace, and good evening and good afternoon from wherever you're watching. I am happy to be part of the team today. So I will start by sharing my screen. I hope it's visible. Thank you. So Dr. Yvonne Olando, I am an ICAP 4. The way you have IHRM and CHRP. So in the addiction field, we also have certification. So we have certification for treatment and also for prevention specialists. So when you see someone with an ICAP, whichever numbers come after that, it means they're actually internationally certified to be practicing in the field of addiction treatment. Currently, I'm the director in charge of programs, both prevention and treatment at NACADA. And as Grace mentioned, NACADA is the national authority for the campaign against alcohol and drug abuse. This is the national body that is mandated with issues of demand reduction and supply suppression in the country. Now, before we continue, you've seen we are talking about alcohol and drug abuse. If you could kindly type, because as Grace mentioned, this is part 2. What are your expectations for this session? So that as you're continuing, we'll try as much as possible to ensure that we at least answer 1 or 2 of your expectations. So feel free to text in the chat any expectations that you had, even as you're joining in today. Okay, thank you. So I've seen someone mentioned they want to know how to help somebody in addiction. Thank you, Evans. How to break news that the person needs help, okay, especially from loved ones, or what avenues exist to help people who are in addiction. Okay, understanding the alcohol and addiction landscape in the country, knowing how well to assist a brother, signs to look for as a HR. Okay, thank you. Helping those who are in denial. Thank you very much. So keep them coming. And at least that gives us an idea of what we are expecting today, so that we don't just talk and then at the end you're wondering, so now what did I learn today?
Dr. Yvonne, there's a funny comment at how to be an addict. Somebody said that.
That one, do we need to teach you really? You will see. As you're going through, you'll actually see how to be an addict in the course of it. Okay, so thank you so much for that response. It gives me an idea that most people are concerned about family members. I've seen how to talk to loved ones, how to talk to families, how to talk to a brother. And of course, also at the HR angle, you want to know how to intervene and what options are available. So when you're looking at the global problem, we have 269 million people between the ages of 15 and 64 who use illicit substances. So these are more than Kenya, almost the whole of Africa. No, the whole of East Africa combined. People who we are saying have used an illicit substance at some point. Now, out of all those people, 35.6 million are suffering from a drug use disorder. Now, when somebody is suffering from a drug use disorder, it means that they cannot function without taking their substance of choice. They feel like things are not working. And when somebody has been diagnosed with a substance use disorder, which we mostly call addiction, it then means that this is a sick person. So as HR, it means that you cannot just wake up and fire them. They are sick, just like somebody else who has another mental health condition. In Kenya, NACADA did a study in the public sector. We looked at the MDAs, those are the ministries, departments, and agencies within the country. And this is what it showed. And you know, the public sector is the largest employer. So 23.8% use alcohol, 4.8% tobacco, 2.9% mirror, 1.9% cannabis, 1% prescription drugs. We have 0.8% with heroin and cocaine. That is a scary number because The current prevalence for alcohol nationally is at 12.4%. So you can see in the public sector, they've actually doubled the number of people who are taking alcohol. That shows that this situation is not fun. Out of all those, and this is how you have to talk about this, people actually are sick in the workplace. Out of those, the ones with an alcohol use disorder are 13.2%. And I'll be talking about alcohol use disorder. That means most of these public sector places, people are very sick. The ones that have a mild use disorder is 5.7, the ones the moderate is 3, and the ones severe is 4.5. And with the severe and moderate, it actually means they need to be treated. So if they're the workplace and they're not being treated, chances are they are disrupting the others. And the focus here is on alcohol because it is the one with the largest prevalence. A drug is any substance that you take and it will interfere with your mind, how your mind functions, how your mood is. We look at physical dependence. Somebody asked, how do you become an addict? So as you're looking, you'll see. So when you're talking about physical dependence, you will realize there are people who in the morning, they actually cannot function if they have not taken the alcohol. So they will wake up and their hands are shaking, completely, they are shaking. That's a sign of a physical dependence. They can't talk. They're even very angry, they're irritable, they're stammering. And this is someone who talks very fluently. But in the morning, they stutter. And then they're just angry because they have a physical dependence. Their body needs something for them to be able to function. So when they come to work, you'll be asking them, why are you smelling of alcohol? It's because they have to pass by somewhere to, jumpstart the system for them to be able to report to work. If they come and they're just sober, they can't even hold a pen because, the muscle spasms will be too much. Yeah, in Kenya, we say anapigwa stima. So they can't even hold a pen. They shake or they have the muscle cramps and they can't even sign. So they'll come smelling of alcohol and they're very happy and you're wondering, this person can't even feel it. It's because at that time for them, they are normal. If they have not taken it, then the physical dependence is too much. Then we have cravings. Craving is tissue hunger. With craving, then the body desires it. So this is the time you will even write letters, you will threaten, you'll do everything. But when the body wants, it wants and it wants at that time. So the person will miss work because they have to go for their drug. If you're married to one, they'll even live in that house alone, even in that bed, and go and look for their alcohol. If it is a cigarette, they have to wake up even at 5 to go and look for the cigarette, whether it is raining or not, because their body is craving for it. So they feel confused, they can't concentrate, they're jittery because the system needs it. With tolerance, when you start to take, you find maybe you're taking 2, 3, and you feel very high, you feel very nice. But after some time, you will need a higher dose. If you're taking 3, you find you're taking 6, you're taking 7 for you to feel the original high. You're actually not taking more just because you have money. No, you're chasing the original high. Most of the time for women, you start drinking just like a glass of wine, you start slowly. For men, they'll start with a whole bottle, but after some time, the beers don't work. So you find if you're taking beers, now you're not feeling high, so you move to the spirits. And these are some of the examples of tolerance. If you're taking changa, for people who have relatives in the village, then you realize this person is actually high, even in the morning. So if they usually take a whole jug of, changa or jik, now in the morning, they just take like a glass, just like a half of it, and the person is very high because the system already is drunk. We have withdrawal symptoms. With withdrawal symptoms, it depends on the drug. For example, for alcohol, apart from the tremors, they will have diarrhea. That is, if you've not taken your substance and your body is used to it, you will have headaches, have diarrhea, you're very angry, you have pains. And then now, as you continue, it graduates. Now you start having delirium tremens, so we say you're very confused. Some even, you can't even talk. You start seeing things, you start hearing things because you need the substance. For tobacco, some even end up nose bleeding. It's a sign of a withdrawal symptoms. Some, they'll be coughing because they've not taken their tobacco products. For cannabis, they'll just sit there and stare the whole day because they've soul traveled. The system needs something. We have psychological dependence. This is where your brain literally is being corrupted by the substance, and you feel like you cannot do anything if you've not taken your substance. So if you have not taken it, you feel depressed, you're low, you can't do anything. There is no joy in this world. You need your substance. And with the psychological dependence, also the hallucinations are very pronounced. And with these different substances, you will have somebody that's talking to other people, For people who are taking spirits, they'll even see snakes with different heads, 5, 4, whichever number of heads, and that is a sign that somebody has a psychological dependence. You'll also see people who, they can't eat your food. They say your food is, it's not tasting well, it has something wrong, and that is a sign that something is wrong with their taste, and that is gustatory, a hallucination. We have some who feel like things are smelling bad in that house, and therefore they have to just go and live outside. That's olfactory. Most of the people taking alcohol and cannabis, they'll complain of, things walking on them. They'll talk of, there is either lice or bed bugs, but something is always just crawling on them, and they're the only ones who can see it. They'll hear things, they've even given commands on what to do. So if somebody is commanded to come and slap you as HR, please just be slapped. They are sick. If you have a question at any time, please text it in the Q&A so that it doesn't disappear in the chat thread. And the Q&A section will be able to see it. We have some emerging trends in drug usage. So right now we have the electronic cigarettes, or we have the vapes, we have the Juuls. I think you've seen people use this one. Most people right now are using it on the streets, particularly women, and they feel like they're looking very nice, not realizing that it is affecting their lungs very badly. We have the brownies. For ladies, be very afraid about milkshake where you're buying it, because we are hearing some are being laced with cannabis. For men, we have this condom called the cannabinoid premium. So be very careful. Hakuna vitu za giza. As much as it is at night, please check the condom, not just the date. Check which one, because you do not want to be introduced to cannabis use without your consent. For Mira users, we have Muguka. Now we have Muguka juice. So ladies, again, when you're saying you're taking lemonade and trying to lose weight, this is not the right way. We have seen people who are using the Muguka juice and saying it is herbal. Well, it is herbal until you become psychotic. We have shisha. As NACADA, we keep cracking down on shisha every other day. We are getting them in the hundreds, but they don't seem to be ending. Shisha is one of those tobacco products. The main challenge with it, apart from it being a tobacco product, is that at the base here, normally shisha, down here you put water. But what the current trend is, sometimes you find down here they have put alcohol, especially the spirits. At the bowl here, usually is where you put the tobacco, the charcoal, and the flavorings. Right now, in mixing the tobacco, they're adding heroin, they're adding coke, and they're also adding cannabis. So within the session, which usually takes about 45 minutes, and when you just do the 45 minutes of shisha, without it being laced with other drugs, it's like taking 200 sticks of cigarettes. But now imagine you have added heroin there, you've added your own other things there, then you're saying, we are not sure how your lungs look like. Under the effects of substances, we have alcohol. Alcohol comes in different forms. We have the wines, we have the beers, and we have the spirits. In terms of alcohol concentration, the beers range between 4% to 8%, and that is Guinness. If yours is higher than that, then most likely it is not Kenyan. Wines, we are talking about 12% to 24%, and that is the fortified wine. The average is usually about 12 to 18%. For spirits, we are talking about 35%. Some have gone all the way to about 75%. So again, as you're taking your beer, you know how fast you're burning your liver, and therefore how soon you'll be needing help. And I like reminding ladies, beer is 4% to 6%. Wine is 12 to 24%, the alcohol concentration. So you'll hear ladies saying, I don't take alcohol, me I only take wine. Take note, you're drinking more alcohol than the person who is guzzling down the beer. If you're taking a kumi or a changa, the illicit brews, they have different components, so we can't even say the alcohol content in it because they have the methanol. So you might turn blind at any time, and you've seen those cases on TV, people die. It has formalin. So you see somebody walking and it's like they have layers on top of their skin. I mean, formalin is a mortuary preservative. So we're saying you're just preserving yourself, walking dead. You have sisal juice. If you want the steam to be very high, you throw in there used sanitary pads. And they say it tastes very nice. It becomes more conch. You add human urine, dead animals, especially the rats and the snakes. We have jik. If you put female innerwear, you will never miss customers. You add battery acid, the steam continues rising. Used batteries and old shoes. I think the old shoes just direct them where to come back. So depending on how much you've taken, you will realize you see your own way. So if you're seeing very clearly right now, we are in problems. Before you take your 6 beers and after you take 6 beers, the brain definitely changes the way it is functioning. So you'll find when you go to that bar, before the 6 beers, you're very focused. You don't even want any woman in front of you. A woman comes and you're like, what are you doing here, you old woman? That as you're taking your 6 beers, the old woman starts turning into this sweetheart. And by the time you're getting to the middle, you start smiling and you're like, Allah, princess, why are you not having something? The same person who was saying, go away, you're not saying, waiter, give her something. Because the alcohol has impacted your brain. And this is how an alcoholic's brains look like. Alcohol literally burns the brain. Of all the substances, you will realize it is only the people who have an alcohol use problem that have blackouts. All these other ones, you do not have blackouts. So as you're burning your brain again, just take note which substance it is that is burning the brain faster. You'll take note that this part of the brain literally now has holes, and that's why you'll be reprimanding this person, you'll be talking to this person, you're giving warnings, they can't hear because their brain is not okay. If you're a pregnant woman and you're taking alcohol, the baby is also taking the alcohol. Remember, when you're pregnant, the baby takes whatever you're taking, the baby takes the best concentration 7 times and leaves for you the other part. So when you're taking alcohol, you can imagine by the time you're getting drunk, maybe you already had a blackout, maybe in your womb, because they already took the best part of that alcohol. A normal brain has the two hemispheres separated by the corpus callosum. When you're taking alcohol, it interferes with the brain development of the baby. And therefore, you can see the corpus callosum did not develop well. And that means then that your child will have problems. So in Africa, we keep saying, oh, they looked at me badly when I was pregnant, I'm bewitched. No, you are the one who has bewitched your baby's brain. Alcohol is bad for pregnant women. We look at tobacco. So this is how tobacco plant looks like. You'll realize with the tobacco plant, even animals don't eat it. And actually, if you want to kill a dog, you take meat and you just wrap it with the tobacco plant, and the dogs will die. But as humans, we are very bright. We believe we will not die. Now, the worst part about tobacco is the aspect of secondhand tobacco smoke. With tobacco smoke, it means that even if you're not the one smoking, but you're around for smoking, you are smoking. Tobacco smoke has over 7,000 chemicals. That is the smoke. Out of these 7,000 chemicals, 100 are known to cause cancer. Out of all of them, 500 are known to be metals. Sometime back in Kenya, we had an issue, and you could see it on TV, where some factory in Mombasa was pouring some water that had lead, and people there, their skin was affected, women miscarried. I mean, the impact was clear, and they were clear it was lead. Now, lead is just but one of the irritants. So you can imagine any puff that you take, then you're clearly trying to look for one of the effects. I hope it will play. I want us just to look at short videos on the effects of tobacco. Okay, so that is the effects of tobacco on the eyes. I hope you could hear it. Grace, was it audible?
We couldn't see signs. We couldn't hear, but we could see.
Okay. Let me see. Hopefully it will agree. If it doesn't, then you will just see. Okay. Let's look at the effects on the lungs. Look at the aorta. Okay, and the last one, we look at the tumors. I hope it has been clear on, sorry you could not hear, but I hope you've been able to just see from the pictures the effects of tobacco to the body. Now we look at cannabis. When it is in the farm, it looks like this. When you're arrested, we don't call it leaves, it becomes stones. When you're using it, it becomes brownies and other nice names. Of note here, I want us to take note that we have what you're calling hashish oil. Hashish oil, some people apply it like oil, like, body lotion. And therefore, they will not remove their coats, they'll not remove their jackets, even if it is burning hot outside. Because when you've applied the hashish oil, as the heat comes from the jacket and now your body is heating, then the oil is absorbed and then you start feeling high. So the person will come very sober in the morning, but by the end of the day, the person is on a different world because they are very high. Then we have this, the chocolates that are made of cannabis. Again, take note the kind of chocolate that you are taking. This is the effects of cannabis to the brain. If you have, if you're familiar with Sheng, then you know that we say amerarukiwa. Literally, you can see the brain. There's the way meraruka. So there's a way you're not connecting well. So cannabis it has a powerful impact on the brain. So the psychosis level of it is high. And under the substance abuse classification, cannabis is under hallucinogens, meaning that you take cannabis, you will hallucinate. Problem is you will not know you're hallucinating. You'll just believe that you're doing well. If you stayed with someone with cannabis, they have something that you call the munchies, where if you give them food, the food is very small. So they might eat everything on the fridge and they're still not full. And you're left there wondering, why is this person eating like this? It is part of the impact. If they are working, you'll see in the village and even just here at the port, when they're carrying the heavy load, some are high on cannabis because then they can't feel the load because it distorts perception. So they'll see like, that's just a small thing, this is something very tiny, but the back is breaking. We have heroin. The heroin that is available is the brown sugar. If somebody tells you that they're selling you pure heroin in Kenya, please run away. That person is trying to kill you. We've had cases of people injecting rat poison, people injecting baking powder, even glucose in the name of heroin. And then you end up with sores, others have died just because you injected the wrong thing. Now, this is a sachet. This sachet, depending on where you're buying it from, in Kenya, it's between 135 to 300, also depending on the purity, but usually they cut it with some other substance. Heroin you inject wherever. So at the workplace, you might not see it where they've injected their hands, because that's where most people see, because both men and female nowadays inject their private parts because the veins are just looking at you. So for the men, they masturbate so that the veins are standing there. Then you inject without struggling. But unfortunately, now that Johnny cannot salute, for ladies, again, they inject just here on top of the vagina. The veins are there waiting for you. But unfortunately, after that, the repercussions are not very good. Impact to the brain. You can see the brain of the alcoholic and the brain of somebody using heroin. If I may ask, just for a minute, which brain, when you look at them, which brain is the most affected, according to you? Which brain do you think is the most affected? I'm seeing heroine. Thank you, Brian. Heroine Evans, heroine Catherine, heroine Sabina, Flora, hey, George, heroine, okay. Heroine, alcohol, Joyce, okay, heroine. So majority are saying that it is heroine. Thank you so much. Now, this is the best part. The brain that is most affected here is alcohol. When I look at these holes, alcohol has madarao. It is madara in English. Yes, alcohol is very disrespectful. If you look at heroine has swag. Heroine only eats top layer. Look at that. Heroine is eating top layer. You can even see here it has eaten just the top layer. The holes are very few. But with alcohol, when it eats, it drills. You can see all these holes. There's, alcohol is not your friend. As you can see all the holes, it is seriously trying to make sure it has inroads. And that's why people will be asking, why is it that you're just cracking down on alcohol? Why don't you do all these things? Because alcohol is the one that is the most readily available and the impact is very severe. You can see that. This is the other part. When it comes to withdrawal, when somebody has been taking alcohol and they're dependent, alcohol withdrawal kills. Allow me to repeat that. Alcohol withdrawal kills. Heroin, most likely he will just diarrhea and vomit and scream of pain, but he will not die as fast as somebody who has been taking alcohol, especially spirits. So you'll realize, we'll tell you, if somebody knows they have an alcohol use disorder, please refer them to hospital because they need detox. It is not just stop because you can. If stop because you can, you might be burying them tomorrow. General effects, heroin is a painkiller. Somebody asked how you want to become an addict. So if you want to be a thief and you want to be mob adjusted and you don't feel pain, use heroin. You will just break and you will not feel pain until the heroin has gone down, then all the pain will come. We will know you're using heroin because you will have goose pimples like a chicken, which has been removed feathers. For people who go to the club, I tell them, if you see a lady looking at you and she looks like she has sexy eyes, the lady is not even seeing you. She's very high because heroin has constricted pupils and droopy eyelids. So the person is not seeing you because they have impaired night vision, but they look very nice. Users of heroin will develop collapsed veins. The use will affect the heart lining, the valves, and of course they'll have abscess because of misses. You know, when you keep injecting, sometimes you miss, and then they have liver disease. People also who use heroin because of sharing of needles are at a higher risk of HIV infection. They're at a higher risk of hepatitis, both B and C, and other infections. At the workplace, somebody said they want to know. Allow me to go a bit faster. I'm seeing our time is gone. So some of the signs you will realize is reporting to work drunk. Believe me, the person doesn't know they're drunk, even when they're staggering. As far as they're concerned, they're walking very straight. I'm sure they've even pocketed at that point. They're very prone to accident or even have injuries that are unaccounted for. You're the one who will even tell them, Allah, John, what happened to your head? That's the time they're touching to confirm, what are you talking about? Because they didn't even know that they fell. They're, of course, less productive than before. And this one is very clear because most people with a substance use problem are very bright. You say you cannot compete with them. Most people with the substance use disorders, the IQ is very high. And that is why by the time you figure out that they have a problem, things are bad. Because they can even convince themselves that they do not have a problem and convince everyone around them because they are geniuses. Frequent absenteeism, because of course, you know, they got drunk and forgot tomorrow was a work day. They had a blackout. Excessive sick off and leave days. Their wives will even call and say, oh, my husband got food poisoning. And the man is just having withdrawals. They will frequently lose jobs because, I mean, you will find out eventually they can't perform, so they lose that job, or they will change the job. If they realize that the HR in Nairobi has figured out, or the colleagues are figuring out there's a problem, then they ask for a transfer to Mombasa. Then in Mombasa, they are okay for 1 week, 2 months, and then they're back to normal. If the supervisors there start asking, they say, now this situation is too hot, I need to go to Nakuru. So there'll be job hopping or station hopping, and people will not realize they're actually covering their disease. During functions like end of year party, that is where it will blow out because you drink the expensive alcohol that you can never buy for yourself. I mean, it is free and it is there. If you ask them about their substance, even say, Allah, you know, alcohol affects your liver. That's the time you'll be reminded, is it yours? How is my drinking affecting your liver? So they are very defensive, and at that time they can be very rude. Other colleagues will complain. They will increase in withdrawals. So when they come, they will just stay in their offices. They don't want to talk to people. If they're talking, they're always having a mint. They're always having mouthwash. They're always chewing something just to cover that breath. There's the workaholic behavior. So they come in the morning, they will work the whole day. So the challenge here is, when they come in the morning, it is very early. Then in the evening, they leave after everyone. The only person who sees them will be the security guy, who will realize this person is very drunk because the person carried their alcohol to work. They knew they would have withdrawals. So they lock themselves in their office and they drink in that office the whole day. And of course, now they're balanced and they continue working. There's the excessive borrowing. They'll even tell you, oh, you know, my mother died. And then you're like, hey, Kwani, how many mothers do you have? See, even the other month, your mother died and we contributed. At the time, they'll remind you, Allah, Kwani, what do you call your mother's sister in you, where you come from? See, that is your mother. So you will kill all the aunties that are there in the name of mothers just to raise money. And if you give them money as a loan, please don't expect it back because sometimes they can be very harsh. They leave work early. If they didn't carry the spare alcohol, then they have to leave early, otherwise withdrawal kicks in. And deadlines will barely be met and they will avoid the supervisors. Substance abuse leads to mental illness. Mental illness can trigger substance abuse. So somebody with depression might start using Mira because Mira is a stimulant for them to feel high. Somebody with schizophrenia, because they've seen their own things, might use cannabis so that they feel like they're relaxed. They might use cigarettes so that it stimulates them more. So you realize a particular mental illness will go with something else. Somebody with an anxiety disorder, you might find they're either abusing benzodiazepines, which are depressants, or alcohol, so that their system goes down. Substance use can also be used to mask mental illness. If in your family you have a mental illness, and you actually start suspecting that, Allah, this what I am feeling is not normal, I'm seeing my own things, and you don't want for others to realize, you might just start smoking or drinking so that people talk about the alcohol and not you talking to yourself. Or the people you're seeing who died years ago are harassing you. But when you're high, you can harass them back without people knowing, and they'll just assume you're drunk, but you're coping. Both conditions can coexist on their own, or they can coexist together. Please take note, both mental illness and substance use have genetic vulnerabilities. So if in your family, your father was an alcoholic, look at your brothers. Then now, if you're a parent, be afraid for your children, because these substances run in families because of the genetic predisposition. We have a gene called gene ALL that has been shown to have a predisposition to addiction. Trauma will lead to a mental illness, and trauma will also lead to substance use. Both can exist on their own, and both can also exist together. We have different treatment options depending on severity. We have outpatient treatment. We have inpatient rehabilitation, where the person will be admitted in a rehab. They'll go there for 3 months minimum. We are very happy that NHIF is now covering rehabilitation programs. So please, as HRs, when you're taking your medical insurance, make sure treatment for substance use disorders is part of it. We have aftercare programs. After rehab, some are not yet ready to go back home. So there are programs that they can be attending to support them. We have support groups like AA, and allow me to share that we have institutions like the Kenya Ports Authority that has its own support group within the institution, where if somebody has already gone to rehab, when they come back, they have their employee assistance program, which has counselors who support them. So if you have not started, please start. People need help. To highlight here, not everyone who has a problem needs to go to inpatient rehab. We have outpatient programs so that they can be supported, so that they can still continue with work, but in the evening or once a week, they're actually going for counseling. If you go to the NACADA website, www.nacada.go.ke, all of these programs are there with the location and the contacts of those people. And these are rehabs and institutions that have been accredited. If you go to an institution that is not there, and then your person is beaten in that rehab, they're beaten, given beating therapy, please don't report, because you're the one who went to look for quacks. That is why we have put the list of rehabs there, so that you know where to go. As HR, NACADA has 2 major training programs. We have one for committees, the Alcohol and Drug Abuse Committee, that has staff from all the cadres. We have the second one, that is the managers and supervisors training. In all of these, HR have to be there. Step 1, you have to develop an annual work plan as a committee, and then ensure that resources are allocated. And that is where the finance person has to be there. 2, you need a baseline survey of your institution so that you know what is the problem and how you're going to handle it. You need a committee that has from the director all the way to a driver. You know, depending on how your institution looks like, everybody needs to be represented there because the issues that they have are different. Then the committee has to be trained. Otherwise, they won't know that somebody has an alcohol problem. You have to develop a prevention workplace policy. Go to the NACADA website. Under public sector, we have a draft of how a workplace policy component looks like. In this policy, it actually tells you, support this person like this, and at this point now you can fire. It is there. You have to offer support for your staff and their families. Because if you don't support the families, they'll always be stressing your staff. Your staff will always be being sick or drinking, and then they'll be stressing you as HR. You have to have support mechanism for your employees. Otherwise, if I start taking alcohol and I'm your employee and I develop liver cirrhosis, you realize you can't fire me because now the liver cirrhosis is a physical condition. And then I add in depression because alcohol will lead to depression. You still can't fire me. I have a mental illness. So to protect yourself from all of this also, offer support in advance. We have to train our supervisors and managers so that we get their buy-in. Otherwise, they'll be feeling like you HR, you're not doing your work because they do not understand what is going on down there. But when they're trained, they actually give you support. You also have sensitization programs for parenting so that your children don't frustrate you, and you also as a parent, you don't frustrate your children. We offer support for peer and supervisor referral. So we have the peer educators training. Some people don't want to talk to HR, but they want to talk to each other. So we have that kind of training. And we have sensitization to ensure each part of the population within a workplace are attended to. Asanteni sana. I will stop sharing there and hand us back to Grace.
Amazing. Are you seeing the screen? The claps and the love and the p for party and that was amazing. Yvonne, you actually never disappoint. Yani, every time I listen to you, there's always something I'm picking. There's always, oh my God, there's something more we need to explore on this topic. And I'm so glad that you agreed to do this. And I'm so glad that you're so informed. Eh? Hey, this is clearly your calling. And I think you're already serving your purpose. And from the chat, I think we can all agree. Now, my friend Herbert was suggesting that we need to tell people how else they can seek help for those people who are not in Kenya. I don't know, do we have an Akada in Kampala or what? I don't know.
In Kampala, they do not have an Akada, but I know their parliamentarians came to Kenya to benchmark on how to set up like now their Alcoholic Drinks Act. And when they do that, part of the act is like they have to have an Akada to ensure that that is implemented. But I know at Butabika, we have a trained addiction professional. What is his name? He's called Dr. Grace. I'm forgetting his second name, but I think he's the clinical psychologist there, head of something. And he is a trained addiction professional, so he should be able to support you.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you very much for that insight. Wow. We can take a few things a few minutes rather to answer a couple of questions. And especially there's a question that kept coming. How do you support, how do you help somebody who has been to rehab enough times, but they still have relapse? How can we support them? What do we do with them?
Okay, thank you. Now, remember when I talked about the workplace policy? The workplace policy highlights that if you've been diagnosed, not that you've woken up and say, you know, I have a problem. No. When you say, you know, I have a problem because you missed work for a whole week and now you're looking for a way to cover yourself, then we say, very good. Thank you for coming forward. Now you need to go and see someone. Once you've seen someone and they've confirmed that maybe you have an alcohol use problem, the policy, your policy on alcohol and drug abuse should highlight, one, if you're going to offer treatment the first time. The second time, like in most of the policies, the first time the institution offers treatment holistically, you take them to rehab and they still you pay them the salary. If they relapse second time, you pay 50-50. It means you take them to rehab and you pay them half their salary because the other party is paying for their rehab. Third time, you give them an option, pay for yourself. That is if there is no insurance. If they relapse again, and it is in the policy, it actually says you can now let them go on medical grounds because now they are not able to perform. But if you do not have a policy, it becomes very difficult because you fire them, tomorrow they appear with 3 letters saying that they are very sick, you're chasing them and they have a terminal condition. And in institutions where the policy is clear and employees understand it, if you take someone to rehab, they really try hard not to relapse because of the support programs that are attached to the treatment. If a family member keeps relapsing, we recommend that you try an alternative place for an assessment because you could be struggling and thinking it is an alcohol use problem, yet the person has a psychotic condition. Back to you, Grace.
I like that because I think most of us just assume because somebody is addicted, that's it. They're just addicts and that's it. And we never explore the fact that they could actually be dealing with a psychotic or a mental illness that is now bringing about this addiction. That is actually a good highlight. Now, I'm curious, you talked about the cannabis-laced condoms. I think there was a question around that. And there's another thing you talked about panties. How do you tell? I know I'm asking about the condoms because I heard about it. A friend of mine was telling me somebody they used to work with who is crazy. He's actually a creative. and his designs are excellent. Yani, that guy designs for you stuff and you will love them. However, he's dependent on some substance, and apparently he used to lace condoms. So are these things available in stores? They're bought, or where are they?
The good thing about the condoms, the cannabinoid premiums, you can't just walk to a store and buy. You actually have to you order it, unfortunately, and it is dropped to your house. And you need a PIN. You know, it's like these things that it's a click and they give you like a password, so that if you need it, it is brought to your house. The same way you cannot just go and say, okay, now I want the cookies, and you go buy somewhere. No, you actually have to know someone who knows someone to bring it. And it is not hidden. The pack of the condom is drawn. It is drawn, that leaf of cannabis, and it is actually called cannabinoid premium. So as you're taking it, you know. And that's why I said, don't open condoms in the dark. Make sure you see what is being opened, because otherwise you'll realize you're using a drug without even knowing. And for men, it might look like it is treating impotence, or no, it is treating erectile issues, but it treats for just a while, and then after that, issues are irreversible. Same for women. At that time, you'll really appreciate this man knows what he's doing. But now after a while, if now you see he will not be functioning, and now if you move away from him, the other one will not be using cannabinoid premium. So you're left high and dry always. Back to you, Grace.
Amazing. And then I see, oh yeah, Arek, my friend from Denmark. It's good to have you here. Thank you for joining. So he's asking, it would be interesting to hear about the different reasons why people become addicted.
Yes. Now, people become addicted due to different factors. We have the biochemical factors where our bodies are just different. So depending on your body, you'll find we start drinking together. I will take a crate and I don't get high. You might just take 3 bottles and you're very high, because your body, the way it's, there's a component that you call acetaldehyde dehydrogenase that metabolizes alcohol, breaks it down. So if I have a high dose of it, chances are I metabolize alcohol very fast, so I don't get high very fast. If you have a low of it, if you try drinking my way, you will have alcohol poisoning. Chances are you will not compete again. You'll be taking a lower dose, and that will save you. If you have an underlying mental illness, you start taking any substance of abuse, your chances of addiction are high, because you already have a mental illness. So your brain is already compromised. Adding in another substance is going to bring problems. If you have a genetic predisposition, a family member had an alcohol or drug problem, chances are when you take it, you also are predisposed. So you'll also develop the addiction compared to somebody who in their family, they do not have. Women are more predisposed to men, because women, we have extras, you know, the hips, the behind, the breast, we have a lot of fat that holds the alcohol for long compared to the men. And those are the, you know, the men who have more than us. So if you have a bigger body, you hold alcohol for longer, that means then your chances of dependence is higher, because your system retains alcohol more, and chances again of you being affected is higher compared to a slim person. Again, women's liver is smaller in size compared to the men. So for men, if a lady is drinking more than you, toroka, because that is a clear sign something is off. So we have all these different reasons that can predispose somebody to addiction, and we just need to be aware. Back to you, Grace.
On the same note, Dr.
Yes.
Do we have a medical assistance or other treatment for this substance or alcohol abuse? That is alcohol, cocaine, and cannabis.
Yes, we actually have assistance for all of them. Depending on the level of severity, you will go to hospital and you will go through detox. For cannabis, we don't do detox, we do stabilization. So again, depending on the severity, you will go through ECT, you know, that one that will shock your system just a bit. Cannabis is fatty. So yes, all of them, we have a program. For heroin, depending on severity, we have a harm reduction program. So if in Kenya, you know, we have about 11 methadone clinics for people who are using heroin, so that they can stop using the heroin. They use the methadone, which is a harm reduction, and they're able to continue with their work. For alcohol, we have naltrexone implant, depending on how much you've gone through detox and the rehab, and this tries to help them. We also have the anti-abuse, the disulfiram, which is given to people so that if you just taste alcohol, you start vomiting, and it's like you become allergic to alcohol, and a doctor has to prescribe this. If you collude with a doctor and you give this to your partner without their knowledge, and we do not know the liver function test, you can kill that man. So please, I know I have said that, that doesn't mean you go and you just get it. It works, but it works with consent. If you put it and they don't know, they will vomit, and they might vomit to death. Yes, so there's medication. Back to you, Kevin.
Okay, wow, that is quite informative. We have a question here again from Habiba Ibrahim. How do we handle or rather help alcohol and cigarette addicts who keeps promises to stop, but it keeps getting worse? I think that question has come up again on those or rather the HRs who are in practice, and they keep having people who relapse. They promise, they comfort that they are indeed in need of this help, but when we take all the measures that are available, they still keep on relapsing.
Thank you. Remember, addiction is defined as a chronic relapsing brain disease. Just like somebody with diabetes will relapse, so somebody with hypertension will relapse if some trigger is not understood. Somebody who has an alcohol or other drug use disorder might also end up relapsing, and they need continued support. As I'd mentioned, if your person keeps relapsing, then they need to go for a review maybe from a different person, just to pick out maybe something was missed. Maybe it is no longer an alcohol use problem, it is a psychotic condition, and they need to be on medication. And maybe the lack of medication is what makes them relapse, because when they're in rehab, they're actually given medication if somebody is diagnosed to be having a comorbidity. That is a substance use disorder and a mental illness. They're given medication. After discharge, some people stop their medication, and that sometimes leads to the relapse.
Wow, this is, it's out of the world. Grace, might you be having a question from your end?
Yeah, there's one question that somebody is asking about a medicine. Is naltrexone available in Kenya?
Yes, naltrexone is available in Kenya. It is prescribed by a psychiatrist. And yes, it is available.
Okay, Kevin, there's something from Frank there. But on the probably, allow me to also mention, this webinar series is brought to you by Atara Solutions in partnership with HRM PEB and Profiles International, among others. There's another interesting question I had seen. I don't know how I have lost it. But we had a conversation last week, Yvonne, about this thing, and probably this is almost where. Okay, now before I ask that question, Kevin, have you seen what Frank is offering people today?
Yes, I have. With your permission.
Yes.
Okay, so we have solution services, and today they have offered health and wellness at workplace. So 3 people within this session are going to be awarded this training. It's going to be an LMS training. To apply, please write to Frank and Grace, defying why you need, or rather why you qualify for that sponsorship. Only with excellent justification will be awarded the training. As I've mentioned, the training is going to be on LMS, that is Learning Management System, and you'll have, I believe, if I'm not wrong, 2 weeks to complete the training. Yes, back to you, Grace.
Grace, as you're looking for your question, allow me to just respond to Brenda, who's saying there's a rehab, they used to check the stuff and they all relapsed. If you could share with Brenda my email separately. Brenda, if you could just share the name of that rehab. Right now, we are closing down any rehab that everyone relapses, because it means then it is a business and not a support mechanism. Just kindly share with us so that we check what is going on. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Yvonne. Kevin, you have not put Frank's email. You've only put mine, and I might forget. So it's good they copy Frank so that they don't miss out on the chances to be trained. Right. Yvonne, we hosted Daniel last week, who shared his story through addiction. And one of the things he pointed out is this thing of tough love and pushing these guys and saying, if you don't do this, we're gonna do this. Tough love, he said, it doesn't work most of the time, depending, especially if somebody is towards the end. So how else do we deal with it?
A tough love depends at which angle. Most of the time, it actually doesn't work. And this is because of what we call codependency. In a family, if you find that somebody has a substance use problem, chances are this person is not alone. The father or the mother becomes an enabler. So the father blames the mother. You are the one who loved this child too much, and that is where the child is misbehaving. The mother tells the father, you're very harsh, and that is where the child is misbehaving. Remember, I told you these people are very bright. So this person is actually seeing that these people are fighting. So the person will try to look for ways in between there. In this family, even in the worst person's family, there is always somebody who opens the door for this person when they come in the middle of the night drunk. There's always someone who sneaks for them food. There's always someone who protect. That is the person you use to talk to them. When you're doing tough love, it has to be love. It is not neglecting. No, people assume when you're doing tough love, you throw away. No, you've put the options on the table, and now it is you decide. When you're ready, you will come. And at some point now they get it. After you have given them options of support. It is not just stop or we will leave you alone. That doesn't work, because remember they said when craving strikes, it tissue hunger. So there's nothing I can do. You are threatening me, and me, I'm being beaten with a snake with 5 heads. Who is more powerful? Snake with 5 heads or you and your threats? You see, I'll go for my drink because the heads are threatening me. So it is more of communication and getting professional support.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Kevin, I've seen somebody asking what are the trainings that are on offer. Maybe you can copy paste that. And then finally, what is NACADA doing in relation to rehabs that give clients cigarettes, yet they have written at the entrance in capital drug-free facility?
Please let us know, because rehabs are substance abuse-free facilities. They're not supposed to be giving cigarettes. They're supposed to be giving nicotine gums, nicotine patches, the harm reduction support mechanisms for cessation support. So if you just write to NACADA, info@nacada.go.ke, we'll be able to support and just attend to that particular rehab. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Now I have quite a number of people asking, please give us Yvonne's contact. Maybe you want to share your email address, or how do we get in touch with you? Okay. Or shall we use the info at NACADA?
Yes, I think the info at NACADA would work, but even, okay, if my email address would work, let me text it so that information doesn't disappear.
All right.
If you are in need of a training, please also, when you're writing, write to CEO@NACADA, so that you're always taken care of. Emails don't disappear then.
Okay, so there's Olando@nakada.go.ke and CEO@nakada.go.ke. This is for the people in Kenya. For the people in Kampala, we shall task Mr. Herbert to find us the support system in Kampala, and probably with the help of Yvonne, we are able to find support systems for people in Kampala and any other part of the world. If you're logged in here and you need support, please reach out to us, and we are able to also contact Yvonne directly on your behalf, and she's able to give us the sessions that we need. Are the trainings free of charge? No. Unless you plug in when they're training other people and then you plug in. Or Yvonne, did I get that wrong?
No, you didn't.
Okay.
Yes, but write to us, because sometimes we have those nice moments where we have online trainings, and those ones are sometimes free.
Excellent. Please be sharing with me as well, Yvonne, and then I can share with the team. We have a WhatsApp group where we share trainings that are coming up and other information. Quite some good discussions happen on our WhatsApp group. So please join our WhatsApp group. It's Get It Right with Atara Solutions. I'm sure Jacinta is about to share the link. If you're not in the group, please join so that you can get to know what's happening in Atara Solutions and what other people are also training. We get quite a lot of both paid and free trainings shared in the group. So please plug in so that you can also get to gain more information from there. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. I've seen people asking for the notes. We normally don't share notes. We upload the recordings on YouTube. And then if you want to make your notes, you can go ahead and listen to the whole thing, make your own notes, and then prepare yourself again further. So it will be, the recording will be shared on our YouTube channel, that you can actually go and review the recording, get to listen to what we have discussed, and get to help somebody. So yes, I have seen our YouTube channel has been shared there. Please make sure that you subscribe and then join our WhatsApp group as well. The link has been shared on the chat. And then follow us on Instagram. Yes, we are on IG. Please follow us on Instagram. Like our Facebook page as well. Both Instagram and Facebook is @Atara Solutions. We are also on LinkedIn. Personally, I'm on LinkedIn as CHRP Grace Nzula. We also have a LinkedIn Atara page, which is @Atara Solutions. And then we also have Kevin, who is @Kevin Adipo on LinkedIn as well. So please get in touch with us. Yvonne Olando is also there as @Dr. Yvonne Olando on LinkedIn. Please, you can connect with all of us and get to know what's coming up, what's happening in the world of people generally. So allow us to ask this. Yvonne, what is your parting shots?
Addiction is a brain disease, and it is also like a disability. It can catch you anytime. You never know which of the drink you're taking, if it is the last glass of wine that might trigger the addiction. So please just don't start. If you're already taking substances, stop, because the mental health impact sometimes can be irreversible. And we have treatment. If you want to talk to somebody anonymously, call NACADA helpline, which is a toll-free number, 1192, works 24 hours a day. Barikiweni.
Asante sana, asante sana. Yvonne, I have no idea. May God just bless you for this 1 hour. When I make money, I will come back and say thank you with a cup of very huge coffee. Because this one is just, it's amazing. And we are really, 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 really honored to be, I mean, that information you've given us is just out of this world. And I really am grateful. And thank you so, so much for just sharing with us, sacrificing your evening and laying it to us straight. You know, you have used language that we can understand. You have not used those terms that we are like, and then we switch off because we need a dictionary, and it is 8 o'clock and we are not getting a hold of a dictionary right now. So thank you so much. We appreciate you. So this is Get It Right with Atara Solutions. There is a program offered by Profiles International. They have a training on psychometric assessment. So if you're on this call and you wish to be trained on psychometric assessment, you can get in touch with me, or if Martin, you're still there, please share the information on how people can access the psychometrics training that's starting in May. So please, I know most people here may be HRs, maybe people managers, maybe business owners, whatever it is, position that you hold, and you think that psychometric questions or other psychometric assessments are impactful to you, please join that training by Profiles International. It's happening in May. We are also calling upon you to attend the Human Resource HR Congress by IHRM. It's happening from the 15th to 19th of May. So in Mombasa at the Sands, please make sure that you also log in. I am hoping that Yvonne will get a calendar free and join us for that one. I already extended the invitation because this gospel has to be passed across as many people as we can, as often as we can. So I hope you guys will be able to join us in Mombasa for the HR Congress organized by IHRM. For more details, you can check out their social media pages. And we are hoping that Dr. Yvonne will also be there. And I want to appreciate you guys. You guys are our audience. We cannot do this without you. In all honesty, imagine if we just came here and found ourselves, myself, Yvonne, and Kevin, surely. And of course, as always, we normally have Catherine Sidandi, our sign language interpreter, who is unable to join us this evening. But imagine coming here and just finding the four of us. You know, so we appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us every Tuesday. Be on the lookout for what's happening next Tuesday. Of course, as always, you know, we never miss a Tuesday, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. So you better get your calendar and your alarms blocked for that period, because we make sure that the sessions are impactful. If you have enjoyed today, you can be sure that the others are there. If you missed last week, the recording is up on YouTube. If you've missed any session, by the way, I'm telling you the information on that YouTube channel. I don't know why you guys are just still stuck in some things. But yes, so block alcohol in office parties in the ADA workplace policy. Okay. All right. Wait.
Naona masaa yako imeisha.
And I have somebody on WhatsApp saying, I still have this bottle of wine. Please let me finish, and then we shall embark on that one. And I promise I'm not becoming an addict. Wewe, nimekuona. I have seen your WhatsApp message, but thanks. So thank you so much. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you to our partners, Human Resource Management Professional Examination Board, Pathway Solutions. Thank you, Pathway, for offering free trainings to our people. We offered free trainings for sexual harassment. We had free training for networking. We had free training last week, and we have free training this week. Please write to myself and Frank. Make sure you copy Frank. If you don't copy Frank, I'm sorry, I might miss your email. Sometimes they go to junk and then we miss out. Grace, can you consider Tuesday 7 to 9? Some of us are addicted to news. We will consider that. Okay, we will try and end at 9 instead of 9:29. Although it's but yes, we will put that in consideration and try to end at around 9:05, so that then we allow people to catch up with their news. Please reshare your email address, Dr. Yvonne. I have sent to has bounced. Okay, she's typing that out. So thank you so much, guys. Kevin, I don't know whether you have something to say.
Wow, today's session has been one of a kind. And as always, we can all seek help, as Daktari has mentioned. And as Grace has mentioned, I'll just echo. If you feel or you think you're in need of such help, reach out to your HR, reach out to someone you can talk to, and to the toll-free number of NACADA if you're in Kenya, so that you can get the help that is required of you. Thank you for joining us, and we are always looking forward to be with you on Tuesdays. Back to you, Grace.
Thank you, our Facebook family. We are honored to have you as well. Thank you so much, guys. See you next Tuesday, same time, same place, from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. We are going to have another amazing topic. Our mission, we seek to demystify issues in employment and entrepreneurship. I'm sufficiently scared. You need to quit your drinking, yeah? Give up that drink and that heroin and cocaine. Don't be scared, just quit. It's plain as. Right, and hey, okay, let me not ask questions again. Bye-bye, have yourselves a lovely night, and see you next Tuesday, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. And yeah.